Connect Paranormal. Ghost stories have long been a part of human culture, and the White House has its own unique share of ghostly tales. As the official residence and workplace of the President of the United States, the White House is home to some of the most influential people in the world and has long been a symbol of American democracy. As such, it carries with it a deep and rich history and is not immune to haunting tales. This essay will explore some of the most famous ghost stories associated with the White House, focusing on the stories of Abraham Lincoln, Abigail Adams, and Andrew Jackson. Throughout its history, the White House has played a central role in the political and cultural life of the United States. It has hosted numerous state dinners, meetings, and events, and has become a symbol of the presidency and the United States. Despite its iconic status, the White House has also faced its share of challenges and controversies, including a number of fires, threats of attacks, and instances of vandalism. Despite these challenges, the White House remains a vital institution and an important part of American history. A ghost story is a narrative focusing on an individual or group of people who encounter supernatural forces, often taking the form of a ghost or spirit. The White House is home to many such stories, most famously those involving past presidents. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on April 14, 1865 while attending a play at Ford's Theater. He was shot in the head by actor John Wilkes Booth and died the following morning. Since then, his presence has been reported in various locations throughout the White House. One of the more famous reports was made by First Lady Grace Coolidge, who encountered what she believed to be Lincoln's ghost in the Oval Office. Other reports include sightings of Lincoln's ghost in the East Room and on the staircase leading up to his bedroom. Eleanor Roosevelt claims she felt Lincoln's presence while working in the Lincoln bedroom. At around the same time, a young clerk saw Honest Abe sitting on a bed while taking off his boots. Another story involves British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who is said to have seen the ghost of President Abraham Lincoln while staying at the White House during World War II. According to the legend, Churchill was staying in the Lincoln bedroom, a guest room in the White House named after President Lincoln, when he saw the ghost of Lincoln standing at the foot of his bed. Churchill reportedly described the ghost as transparent but solid, and claimed that it spoke to him before disappearing. Lincoln is said to have knocked on Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands' room while she was visiting the Lincoln bedroom. Calvin Coolidge reportedly saw Lincoln standing at the Oval Office window. Harry Truman claims he heard Lincoln knocking on his bedroom door at 3 a.m. These reports are just one example of how deeply embedded paranormal activity is in our culture, and serve as a reminder that no matter how much time passes, we can never forget those who have come before us or their lasting legacies. Abigail Adams was the wife of President John Adams and was one of the first occupants of the White House. She was known for her strong opinions, her work as a social activist, and her love of books. She also kept a diary during her time in the White House and is credited with making improvements to the property. Reports of Abigail Adams' ghost have been made since her time in the White House. She is said to haunt the East Room where she used to read her books and her husband's study in which she kept her diary. Some have even reported seeing her walking through the corridors of the White House searching for books. First Lady Dolly Madison has also been seen as a ghost. A gardener said he had conversation with Dolly Madison which kept him from removing a rose bush she planted herself more than 100 years ago. Andrew Jackson was the 7th President of the United States and was known for his populist policies and his fiery temper. He served 2 terms in office from 1829 to 1837, and during his tenure, he made improvements to the White House, including adding a 3rd floor and a portico. Reports of Jackson's ghost have been made throughout his time in office and even after his death. He is said to haunt various locations throughout the White House, including his bedroom, his study, and even his favorite chair in the Oval Office. Other ghostly tales from the White House include the ghost of a British soldier who is said to haunt the basement and one about the ghost of a servant girl who died in the White House. Some people expect to hear ghost stories about George Washington in the White House. However, he never lived in the White House. John Adams was the first president to live there. In conclusion, ghost stories have long been a part of human culture, and the White House is no exception. The stories associated with Abraham Lincoln, Abigail Adams, and Andrew Jackson are just some of many tales that speak to the history and legacy of not only these individuals but also to our nation as a whole. The stories remind us that no matter how much time passes, we can never forget those who have come before us or their lasting legacies.